Hi all and welcome back to a new video. Today, not going to be an under the radar video. I'm just going to put them on hold for a week or two and see, I suppose, where the season takes us, and if we get any sort of idea of when racing may resume, then we will get straight back into those sort of videos. But instead today, I was just going to have a bit more of a kind of honest chat, I suppose, going on from some comments that were made, some questions that were asked in the Q&A videos a few weeks ago, along the lines of kind of gambling and I suppose form and kind of all of that put together. And I suppose I'm going to talk you through a couple of kind of frank stories from my perspective and what you guys should be trying to do, or just even giving you kind of pointers as to where you might want to kind of, I'm not going to say make you better gamblers or anything like that, but certainly giving you some tips that I have suffered from in the past. As you guys well know, gambling can be quite an addictive nature, and as I suppose for a lot of people that like horse racing, gambling is a major part of it, and I do agree to that, to be honest. I do think gambling, it does hold its position within horse racing, and it does give you the buzz, it gives it the edge, having that vested interest and stuff like that. But it's when you draw the line between that and I suppose something that can really harm your life outside of horse racing that you need to just be, I suppose, a bit careful. As I say, I'm not a man for the moral high ground, and I have had a couple of issues, not big ones. As I said in the Q&A video, there's been one or two times where you've had a couple of bad days in a row or something like that, and it puts a lot of things into perspective in terms when you're losing a bit of money, that you're beginning to get to a situation where you maybe don't have that money and you shouldn't maybe be betting as much as you are and stuff like that. So that's really one of the key things that I've learned, through experience and stuff like that, is you only can bet what you can afford to bet. I know that's a real kind of staged cliche at this stage, which I don't want to just have a whole video worth of cliches here, but it's one that really does hit home, because you just can't be getting into any stage, or you should try. Again, I'm not judging anybody that has issues, because I know I've come close to that scenario, but where you're trying to borrow money off other people or something like that to bet more and more for yourself. Unfortunately, it's just a game like that, and it's a chasing your winnings type of game. I've had days where you maybe have had a few bets at a Naas or an Avon or something like that in Ireland, and you lose a bit of money, and you go, oh, geez, that's a bit of a disaster. I've lost X amount of money. But look, there's racing on now at kind of Newcastle in the evening, or Dundalk or Southall or something like that, and you put on more money, and invariably with those all-weather tracks you're going to end up losing more money, and it's something you need to be very careful of. There's obviously guys out there that really hunch in on a niche of all-weather racing, and if you are one of those guys, I'm not putting you off that, but you've got to pick your niche and you've got to really focus in on that. I know there's some people out there that really kind of pretty much only bet on things at Cheltenham even, that they just do, a certain amount of anti-post bets through the year and then bet quite a lot at Cheltenham, but don't do almost any betting throughout the year other than that. And again, if that's your niche, I say stick to your niche. I have had that problem where you get sucked in to just betting on too many races, where you're just trying to test your knowledge too much. Now, as I say, I've got a bit of an addictive personality in terms of when I got into horse racing, I wanted to know a lot about horse racing. I'm not a type of person that can kind of get into something without really trying to give it your all in terms of what you're feeling, what sort of ideas other people are coming up with. I wanted my own ideas at the same point in time. So that being said, when racing is on, an awful lot of the time I'm on the Racing Post app, I'm on the At The Races website, I'm looking at cards for tomorrow, I'm looking at yesterday's cards, I'm looking at races back. And this is where it comes into form guides and stuff like that. I'd have a fairly decent idea of an awful lot, I'd say 95 percent of kind of Irish National Hunt horses, I'd know the form pretty well and be able to give you a judgment on any of those horses without actually even needing to look up the racing post at the races. Does that give me a better chance of winning money when it comes to race days? Probably gives me a little bit better, but it's no guarantee. Sometimes there's things in horse racing that happens, horses falling, horses getting brought down, horses just not performing on a day that you just can't legislate for. So there's going to be days where you have a beano, there's days where you're not going to have a great day. But what I've began to realise with Irish National Hunt racing is there'd be very few days that I'd have a very bad day, because I just, throughout the course of a card of 7 races, the more than likely I'd be backing 2 to 3 winners a day, which usually makes you break even, or if not, make a profit, depending on the prices you're backing and stuff like that. So that's the sort of idea I'm getting at. If you're over in England and you're watching this video, I'd spend this time. We do have a lot of time on our hands at the moment. I know some people are working, some people are working from home, some people still in college and stuff like that. But take your time. If you really want to get into it, you want to kind of get more of a feel of it, take this time as a time to look back at races on the At The Races website, on the Racing TV website. Build your own opinions. And this is something that I don't think is stressed enough in the horse racing industry. Whether it's coming from me, whether it's coming from Paul Keeley, whether it's coming from David Jennings, at the end of the day, your bets is your money. It's not our money. It's not David Jennings' money. It's not Paul Keeley's money. It's your money. So therefore, if you don't like a selection, don't back it. Back whatever horse you want to back, not whatever horse somebody else is telling you to back. I make these videos, to be honest, more so as a mode of discussion, as a mode of interaction. I'm a journalism student. I do a bit of broadcast media and stuff like that. And this is kind of a good vehicle to, I suppose, do certain videos and get better at kind of public speech, speaking to the camera, stuff like that. So I'm not kind of claiming in any way that I'm kind of this punting expert and stuff like that. Sometimes I have good days, sometimes I have bad days. But what you guys need to realise is that, yes, you could agree with a selection of mine and therefore do go and back it. But sometimes if you don't, do back your own thing. It's all about trusting your own stance. Trust yourself, and back the horse with your own money. It's all about you when it comes to horse racing, when it comes to form study, when it comes to gambling, stuff like that. As much as somebody can tell you to do something, at the end of the day, if you want to back a horse because you've seen it a couple of times before, you have a bit of a sentimental attack, do it. If you're even at a lower level, one of these people that wants to back a horse because of the name and stuff like that, just, don't focus in on people that give you tips. Certain people give you tips. I give out tips, and I mean them in the greatest interest possible. But it doesn't mean I'm guaranteeing you any winners. And I do say that a lot of the time when I'm making these types of videos, putting out selections, I can't guarantee winners, unfortunately. I wish I could. I'd be making an awful lot more money if I could. But you can make a good effort at it. And one thing, as I say, that you should be doing if you're really involved in horse racing is, or really want to get involved in horse racing, is using this time wisely to update your own ability on the game. I know myself, I'm trying to read a lot more stuff about pedigree stuff, so my flat knowledge is a bit better, because my pedigree knowledge is poor, and that's something that I've identified and I'm trying to correct during this period. You guys, if you want to correct your form base, go and research a lot of form, do a lot of research, look at different horses, see what you like as a horse. Maybe you only want to back 2 mile hurdlers, maybe you only want to back 1 mile horses or 3 mile chasers. It's all about finding that and really honing in on it. It's a very difficult one to get into your head, and as I say, it's one that's taken a long time for me to get my head round, but I think, turned that corner in terms of focusing on what you know best and trying to capitalise on what you know best and making it into something that can go and win you a bit of money and really enjoy your horse racing experience. a lot of the time it's all about, people try to make it that it's all about money. Sometimes racing is about the racing itself. Yes, it's lovely to have a bet. Yes, it's lovely to win a bet. But at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying racing for racing way, if you're not seeing a good horse and going at the end of a race, oh, I didn't back it, I can't enjoy it or anything like that, then you're in the wrong game. You've got to be able to enjoy other horses' successes. You've got to enjoy your own success. And as I say, keeping your head on a level grounding. If you're making money, keep level. If you're losing money, keep level. It will change. If you have a system in place like I do, I try to keep to a point system. I try to keep to a certain amount of horses, a certain caliber of horse. And in the end, it does pay off for me. So maybe that's just me, but I hope that can be with you guys too, if you guys try and hone in on what you guys know best. I hope you guys did find this insightful. I hope you guys did find this somewhat interesting. Obviously, there is a bit of a low in terms of content that I can produce at the moment, but I'm trying my best to keep going with at least a video or two a week to keep some of you guys entertained. So I hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel, and I will see you guys next time for hopefully another informative video. Until then, best of luck.